Good morning. How are you? I'm good. We just had geography and I got up and I had a little snack. I had some almonds. I like almonds and it's been precipitating lightly. What does that mean? Raining lightly. Precipitation is any form of water that falls from the clouds. It can be snow, rain, sleet, hail. Well, we really haven't talked about hail, and I want to talk about hail because we're going to write a definition for hail today. So does anybody know what hail looks like? Have you ever seen hail? Hail are chunks of ice that fall from the sky. Sometimes they're really small, and sometimes they can get really big. And hail is very damaging to cars and to crops. What is a crop? That's crops, that's food that farmers raise for us. And it can be damaging to houses too. We had a window broken out one time by hail that came in. So let's see if we can read today about hail. All right, it says hailstones are chunks of, what am I doing? I'm not even showing this to you. I was thinking about what I said about the window that got broken. I remember that the window got broken, but I can't remember if it was actually hail or something came through the window. Anyway, it was during a bad thunderstorm, and it was in Mississippi, and we had bad thunderstorms there, and that's what hail comes from. Let's look at this. Let's see. All right, here we are. Hailstones are chunks of ice that are tossed up and down by the winds of some thunderstorms. Hail can be the size of a marble or larger than a baseball. Look at that. Those are all hailstones. So those are they larger or smaller than the baseball? Those are actually smaller than the baseball. And what it means by tossed up and down is so the ice chunk starts falling, but the wind catches it back up before it ever comes close to the ground. It's still high up in the sky. It comes back up, it gets more rain and starts falling through freezing air and gets a little bigger. It gets tossed up again. So however many times it gets tossed will determine how big it is, because every time it goes back up, it gets a little more water on it, and then it freezes coming down. So hailstorms always happen during a during a thunderstorm. And this page, it says, nearly 5,000 hailstorms strike the United States every year. That's 5,000 just in the United States. They can destroy crops and damage buildings and cars. Okay. And usually they're pretty fast. They don't last long at all. Usually like maybe 3 to 5 minutes and they're done. And it just comes down and everybody's like, ah, it's hailing. And you'll have a whole area affected by it. Like, I remember one time we had a hailstorm and everybody's car, they just had the little dents in it where the hailstones had hit. And so it took a long time for the car fixing places to get it all fixed up because there were so many cars. And I remember that there were some houses that had Spanish tiles and they're clay tiles, and so the hailstorms broke those clay tiles. And hail will often damage a lot of different kinds of roofs. And if you have a hailstorm come through or a bad windstorm, you'll have a lot of companies coming through and say, can we check your roof and see if it needs to be fixed? All right. So today we're going to do drought and precipitation. We're not going to do climate. We're going to do rain and hail. All right. So do I have my scissors? I forgot. This is the first day I've forgotten in a while. Let me get my scissors. And we do not need any glue today because we are not gluing. We are just writing definitions. So I'm going to cut out my rain and my hail. I'm going to cut on the other side of the black line. And you cut out your rain and your hail. All right, you are going to have to turn these into Miss Amy this week. So you need to have everything finished. Okay, so if you have been goofing around, you're going to have to go back and do some work. All right, and I'm going to check what's in your vocabulary pocket and how you've done everything. All right, rain and hail. Now I want drought and precipitation. We have gone over precipitation. We have not gone over drought. Does anybody know what a drought? Oh my gosh, Kitty. These animals have been crazy today. Does anybody know what a drought is? If you live in Texas, you should know what a drought is. That's why, even though we haven't read about it, I am going to have us fill out the definition for it. In the summertime, for us, it's in the summertime. It gets really hot, and it gets hotter and hotter, and we just don't have any rain. And the longer we go without rain, the hotter it gets, because somehow rain cools us down. So when we go for a long period without rain, and the crops start dying, and the grass outside starts dying, you're having a drought, okay? So let's see, I've got my vocabulary sheets, and the first one we're gonna do is rain. So we're gonna do rain, and I've got my pencil, and it says rain, precipitation. Do you know how to spell that? P-R-E, sip, C-I-P, precip, it's an A, no, it's an I, precipitation. Let me write it down for you. Okay, it's a big word. Precipitation. Write that down. Do you have it? Okay, pause your video if you don't have it. It's precipitation that falls all in ball. A-L-L, all in ball, that falls as water. So rain is just precipitation that falls as water. Okay, good job. Now let's just, we probably should have started with this one. Precipitation. It's water, and wash, or inverse, water that falls my cat is trying to push my markers off the table. That falls as rain, comma, because I'm going to make a list. Water that falls as rain, comma, snow, O and bow, comma, hail, comma, or sleet. Okay, I'm going to hold this up for you. You may need to pause the video. Water that falls as rain, comma, snow, comma, hail, comma, or sleet. Okay, pause your video if you need to. Now, this is what we just read about, hail. Long A, silent I, hail. It is precipitation, precipitation. You can look on the back of your rain card because it also says precipitation. Ooh, that falls. So all of this is falling water. That falls as chunks, in church, unk in trunk, chunks of ice. Precipitation that falls as chunks of ice. Okay, do you have it? Okay, pause your video so you can finish that. Now this is drought. What is a drought? It's a long period with no rain. Let's see what they say on the definition. It's not on this page, it's on the next page. All right, when there is, let's just say, very, V-E-R-Y, very little rain for a long time. All right, it is very little rain for a long time. It is such a little amount that everything starts dying. The trees will lose their leaves in order to try to preserve their life. They shed them, and they just try to live on a minimal amount of water. The bushes will die. The grass will die. You really have to start watering a lot. And this year we've had a good amount of rain, so we hadn't had a lot of drought, but we don't know what's going to happen this summer. Usually the drought comes in the summer. And some places experience drought for a very long time. And there's a story in the Bible where Elijah, I think it was Elijah, he prayed that it wouldn't rain because all of the children of Israel were worshiping idols. And so he prayed that it would not rain, and it didn't rain for 3 years. That is an extremely long time without rain. And so he challenged the false prophets. He said, you serve Baal, so if you think that you can make it rain, call on Baal. And they called on Baal, and he said, oh, well, maybe he's sleeping and he can't hear you. They cut themselves. They did everything they could think of, and no rain came. And so Elisha, they were offering sacrifices in those days. It was before Jesus came. He took the altar where they offered the sacrifice, and he poured barrels of water around it. And he started praying to God. And God sent a fire down from heaven. It burned up the sacrifice. It burned up the water, which is very unusual because water puts out a fire. And Elijah said, see, this is the real God. This is the God you need to be serving. This is the God who loves you and wants to take care of you. And so Elijah prayed, and he prayed for a good long time, and it began to rain. First it was just a little cloud, and then another cloud came and rain began to fall. So God is very powerful. He is able to take care of us. He is able to send us rain. Do not be afraid to pray for rain or to pray for it to stop raining if you think it's flooding and it's too much. Just pray for God's will to be done because God wants to take care of us. All right, so let's take these and let's put these in our little weather pouch. Our weather vocabulary pouch. And we are going to say that we are done. And I do want you to turn these in this week. And I know that you haven't finished this chart, but I will let you finish it when I give it back to you because I need to check your work. So let's just look over everything that we've done. All right, so when we started, we have our name and we have our little gauge of what it's going to be. Now, I know we never did do the round one, and I did send a round one, and I bought the brads for it, but I could not find the brads, and we really do not have room anyway. So the brads are lost, and we just won't do that part. All right, so then we opened it up, and we did thunderstorms. We did storms. A heavy rain, snow. No, a heavy rain shower. A thunderstorm is a heavy rain shower. It is lightning and thunder. A hurricane is the deadliest storm. It's miles wide. It starts over the ocean. A blizzard is a heavy snowstorm. Winds at 35 miles per hour. 2 inches of snowfall per hour. Tornado is a powerful storm. It is winds over 300 miles per hour. And this is our weather and our climate definition. Climate is the average weather for a region or a place. It's long term. Both refer to temperature. Climate dictates the weather in a place. The weather conditions, I can't read it, conditions of the atmosphere on any given day. So the weather happens daily and changes. The climate is what's going to happen all year long. And this was one of my favorite things. We did cirrus clouds. High-level clouds that are thin and wispy, they appear during good weather. And what do they look like? Little thin wispy clouds. Then we have stratus clouds. Stratus clouds are low-level clouds that are flat and they tend to cover the sky. They are gray and bring light rain. Now, they can look like this or they can just completely cover the whole sky. You can't even see blue sky anywhere. It's just all gray. And then we have cumulus clouds. These are low to mid-level clouds. They are big, puffy, beautiful clouds. And there's our cumulus. And then we had our nimbus. These are tall clouds that bring thunderstorms with heavy rain, hail, and even tornadoes. And they are the black tall clouds. All right, then we had our meteorologist tools, and we just did that yesterday, so we're not going to go over all of those. And we have our weather vocabulary in our weather pocket. And on the back, we have our water cycle. So we start with evaporation. Condenses into a cloud, that's called condensation. And then it drops down as precipitation and gathers up in the ocean, rivers, puddles, lakes. That's collection. All right, that is all of our weather book. I am so sad to be done with it. I love doing the weather book. I didn't know I would enjoy weather this much. But you can look at the Weather Channel every day on Mom's phone or an iPad. You can watch the weather reports on television. You can ask your Alexa or your Google Dot to tell you what the weather is, and you can keep tracking the weather. And you can record it and see how it patterns over year after year after year. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is a plant book. I do have one correction to make. When I was doing the butterfly, I called those two little things antlers, and I know you are thinking, what is wrong with her? They are antenna, not antlers. So, I don't know. I hope nobody is watching these videos but y'all, because I know that y'all understand me saying just crazy. But we've had a good week this week, and I am very happy to have done this week with you. I'm very satisfied with what we are learning. So we only have, I think, 12 more days of videos. I believe I counted up only 12 more days. So that's not very much. So we got to enjoy what we have, and then school will be over. So if you don't like school, it's almost over. Just hang in there. If you do like school, I don't know what to say. It is almost over. All right, well, enjoy your weekend, and I hope that you get some really pretty weather to play outside. I'm going to try to paint some shutters for the front of my house. We got 2 shutters, so I'm excited, and I hope that y'all have some projects to do or just some fun things to do, and I will see you Monday. Gotta find the off button.